All right, today we are cracking the code on something that, let's be honest, can feel like a total mystery: work motivation. But what if I told you it's not a mystery at all? It's actually a predictable, understandable process, and by the end of this, you're gonna have the blueprint. Okay, let's dive in.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You start a new project, you're all fired up, and then a few weeks later, that spark is just gone. Pushing forward feels like wading through concrete. It's a super common problem, but the solution is actually hiding in the mechanics of how our drive works.
So here's our game plan. We're gonna start with the puzzle itself, then peek inside your brain to see the science at work. After that, we'll unpack a brilliant psychological formula for motivation. Then we'll get super practical with a toolkit used by chief happiness officers. And finally, we'll see how you can start designing motivation for yourself and for your team. Okay, first things first, let's really look at this puzzle. Why does motivation feel so slippery, so hard to just grab onto and keep? Well, the answer is way simpler than you might think. Here's the big idea, the main takeaway right up front. Motivation is not some magical force you have to go out and find. Nope, it's what happens when your expectations, what you think will happen, line up with your results, with what actually happens. When those two are in sync, motivation just flows. When they're out of whack, poof, it's gone. Now, let's get a little geeky and pop the hood to see how this actually works inside our brains. This is where the real chemistry of that driven feeling comes from.
Say hello to dopamine. You've probably heard of it as the pleasure chemical, but it's really the motivation molecule. See, when you work on something and the result is what you hoped for, or even better, your brain gives you a little hit of dopamine. And that doesn't just feel good, it's your brain's way of saying, hey, that was worth it. Let's do that again.
And this creates this amazing positive feedback loop. Your effort gets a good result, which triggers dopamine, which then makes you more focused and reinforces that behavior. So you get better at it, you feel more driven, and the whole cycle just keeps spinning up. It's literally your brain's built-in system for getting better at stuff. Okay, so we've got the brain science down. Now let's layer on the psychology. Way back in the 1960s, a psychologist named Vroom gave us this incredibly elegant formula that explains exactly how this works on a conscious level for us. Vroom's expectancy theory is a total game changer. It basically says that our motivation isn't random, it's a calculated choice we make based on what we believe our efforts will get us. It's all about how we see the connection between putting in the work, actually doing a good job, and getting the reward at the end. And here it is, the formula itself. It's so simple, right? Motivation equals expectancy times instrumentality times valence. Now, the most important part of this whole thing is that little x. It's multiplication, not addition, and that's a huge deal. Let's break down what each of these means. First, you've got E for expectancy. This is all about self-belief. It's that little voice in your head asking, if I really try hard, can I actually pull this off? It's about your confidence in your own skills and resources. If you think there's no way you can do it, your motivation is dead before it even starts. Next is I for instrumentality. This one is all about trust. It's the belief that if you do succeed, you'll actually get what was promised. You're asking, is the system fair? If I deliver, will they deliver? If you suspect that your hard work will just go unnoticed or the promise will be broken, well, why bother? And finally, we have V for valence. This is all about personal value. It's how much you, as an individual, actually want the reward that's on offer. A company could offer a lifetime supply of paper clips as a prize, but if you don't care about paper clips, it's not going to motivate you one bit. The reward has to matter to you. Now let's go back to that multiplication sign. This is the crucial part. If any one of these three things, expectancy, instrumentality, or valence, is a zero, what happens to the whole equation? The entire thing becomes zero. Your motivation completely flatlines. You have to have at least some of all three for the engine to even turn over. So the science is cool, the theory is great. But how in the world do we put this into practice at work? Well, this is where the role of a chief happiness officer or a CHO comes into play. They are basically the architects of these motivational systems. See, a CHO's job isn't about planning pizza parties. It's about strategically designing a work environment where those three elements from Vroom's formula can actually thrive. They build the systems that help connect what people expect with what they actually get, creating that awesome self-powering motivation loop we talked about. And they do this using a really practical toolkit. We're going to look at three of their core techniques: making your progress visible, providing solid feedback and celebrating wins, and setting simple weekly micro goals. Okay, first up, making progress visible. This technique is a direct hit on expectancy, that I can do this feeling. By doing a skill assessment when you start something, and then again at the end, you create concrete proof that you've grown. Seeing that journey from point A to point B literally rewires your brain to believe you're capable.
Second, feedback and triumphs. This one is all about reinforcing instrumentality, that belief that your success will be rewarded. Things like recording tiny triumphs every week make recognition a real habit. And the feedback has to be specific and on time. Why? Because when someone gives you specific praise, it directly triggers that dopamine release, telling your brain exactly what good behavior to repeat.
And third, micro goals. This one is so smart because it trains your brain to get better at predicting success. You set a small, totally doable goal for the week. Then, at the end of the week, you look back. Did you hit it? What got in the way? Every little win builds your confidence and teaches your brain how to chop up those huge, scary goals into things you can actually tackle. And when you put these tools together, you stop just managing tasks and you start designing an environment where motivation can actually grow. You're turning everyday effort and small wins into a source of real positive energy that can lift up your entire organization. So, let's bring this all home. What is the one big idea you should walk away with after all of this? If you remember one thing, please let it be this. Stop looking for motivation like it's your lost car keys. It's not something you find, it's something you build. It's an experience you can design for yourself and for the people around you by deliberately lining up effort, performance, and rewards that actually matter. You're the architect here. And that leaves me with one final question for you to take with you. Looking at the week ahead, what's just one small win, one tiny triumph that you or your team can aim for, and, this is the important part, actually celebrate? Start there, because when you do that, you're already designing your own motivation. Thanks for watching.